Hi there. So now we're going to be doing the gram staining method. So starting as I do with every video, I would start by using aseptic technique, um, making sure I have a lab coat on, making sure I have gloves on, making sure my hair is pulled back, closed-toed shoes, all that stuff. I would make sure my area is disinfected. And that is it. I would prepare myself and my workspace by disinfecting it, like I said. So again, we'll be doing the gram stain method with the heat fix slide that I used in the previous video. So that is right here. I have my stain pan, which I'm pretending is a stain pan, but I will also show you on my computer screen what I do have. So here's the stain pan that we will be using, the slide clip, the crystal violet stain, the grams iodine stain, the 95% ethanol, the safranin, the water bottle for rinsing. There's the bibulous paper, the slide box, the stain collection vessel, the germicide as the disinfectant, paper towels, and I do have my gloves on, the biohazard waste. And so we will get started. So first we would place, like I said, the slide that is already heat fixed on the tray. We would be smearing it or flooding it with crystal violet. So I would be doing that. So I would do that and that's the primary stain. And then once we did that, we would let it sit. So we're going to get a good amount on there. We would let it sit for about a minute. And then once we're done with that, I'm just going to use this as my water bottle to rinse it. So after that, we would rinse it with water. So we would let it drip down, and you're going to watch the end of the slide. And once the color runs off, once it's clear, then we are good to go. I would also have my slide clip attached to that, so I wouldn't be holding it with my fingers. So after that is done, again, that's the primary stain. Next, we would move on to, we would lay this flat, we would move on to the grams iodine, which will help the bacteria retain the crystal violet. So once I pour that on, I would let that sit for 60 seconds. And once again, I would rinse it with water, gently, kind of going back and forth. And then once all the color has dripped off and it's clear, I would set that down and let it sit again for about a minute, is what it seems. Then after that, we would move on to the 95% alcohol, which is the decolorizer. So we have to be careful because we can over or under colorize it. So we would take that bottle and kind of go back and forth gently. So once that is good to go, we would again let that sit for about a minute. Again, and then we would, and this we do not apply directly to the smear. We would let it run down the slide under the slide clip. So again, then we would rinse it with water and let that run off onto the tray, and then we would let the slide sit on the tray. And the last step that we would do is the safranin, which is the counter stain. So again, we would pour that on. We would flood it with that counter stain, and then we would let that sit for about a minute again. And then after that, the same thing, we would rinse it with water on an angle, let the excess run off into the stain pan, and let it sit. Once that's done, then we would use the bibulous paper, put it in between the paper and kind of gently slide back and forth in the paper. You gotta be careful so that the slide doesn't break. And then after that, you could either store it in your slide box or put it under a microscope to look at, and you put immersion oil and look at it under the 1000 magnification level. And then after this, I'm going to sketch what this will look like. And then after everything is said and done, we're going to, well, part of looking under the microscope is seeing if it's gram negative or gram positive. If it is gram positive, the cells will retain the crystal violet color and will appear purple. If it's gram negative, the cells will lose this color and will appear more pink or red. So that's what we're looking for. So after everything is said and done, we would put the slide in our biohazardous waste container. We would clean our area up. We would decontaminate ourselves and our workspace with the germicide. We leave all pencils and pens in the lab where we are. We would not take it out so we don't infect other areas or people with what we were using. So that is it for this video.